Hey everyone, Mario here, jumping in before we start the episode to let you know this week's episode was recorded as a live Q&A episode that we did with the members of our Discord chat and our Facebook audience. We're going to try to do some more of this stuff as time goes on. There was a couple of little technical difficulties, so bear with those as this happens. But it was a lot of fun, and we're going to try to keep doing some stuff like this as we're all home and in quarantine. So if you want to get involved, obviously like us on Facebook. That's where we live streamed this too. Or I'm going to try to figure out how to put it on YouTube as well. So follow that. And you can also join our Discord at bit.ly/S71chat. That's where we had the live chat room, and the audience interaction was mostly through there. So all good places to get in touch with us. We're going to try to do a couple other things like we mentioned at the end of this episode. Jackbox game nights we did recently. That was a lot of fun. Just some stuff to kind of keep everyone's mind off of the current events and everything that's going on. So if you enjoy this episode, be sure to join the Discord chat. We're all pretty active in there, and we enjoy interacting with our listeners as well. So keep an eye out on our social medias as we continue to post some stuff. Enjoy the show.
Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
There's no turning back now.
Let's put on the show.
So welcome to our impromptu, well, not really impromptu, our unusual show this week. We are doing a live show, and we're going to be talking about any Q&A stuff that we got sent over the week. Just kind of hanging out, chatting with everybody. Yeah.
The floor is yours. So
I guess we could start with like stuff that we got through Instagram. I think I saw a couple things come through there.
Before we do that, should we address the breaking news of the day?
Sure, we can do that. That is
Just in case anybody hasn't been keeping up or hasn't been on the internet today, the Disney parks will now remain closed until further notice. They were supposed to reopen April 1st, but now they're closed indefinitely, and that's all we know for now, and it's real scary.
I'm gonna assume that everything at this point is running on like a 2-week operating basis.
That makes
so like
sense.
we'll know in 2 weeks what's gonna happen, if anything's, gonna happen, if anything's gonna change. But for now, I'm assuming that that's where we're at with everything. So, moral of the story: stay safe out there, everyone. As we get through this, the Disney parks will be back at some point. So, anything else you wanted to talk about before we start taking questions?
Joshua in the chat says that he received a text from a cast member saying that he was told April 18th. I read that they were getting paid through April 18th, but that nothing else had been established.
So I
know we have some cast members that listen, so anybody else has any other intel or can confirm that?
I should have I actually think I have the press release somewhere. Give me 1 second, I can find it.
Yeah, Teresa, you're a cast member, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the update that Disney Park News put out is, while there's still much uncertainty with the respective impacts of COVID-19, the safety and well-being of our guests and employees remain the Walt Disney Company's top priority. As a result of this unprecedented pandemic, and in line with direction provided by the health experts and government officials, Disneyland Resort and Walt Disney World Resort will remain closed until further notice. The Walt Disney Company has been paying its cast members since the closure of the parks, and in light of this ongoing and increasingly complex crisis, we have made the decision to extend paying hourly parks and resort cast members through April 18th. So as of right now, they're paying them through April 18th. But the parks are closed indefinitely.
Yeah.
It's strange.
I hope that isn't the way that I'm reading that is that whether or not the parks open on April 18th, that's all they're getting paid through. And I hope that that's not the case.
That's how I kind of read it too. The way they worded it and the fact that they decided to announce at this time that they're paying up to a certain date instead of just doing it, that unfortunately is what that feels like to me.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's scary. I fear for the well-being of the cast members that are caught in the middle of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
But now that we've addressed the elephant in the room,
yes,
maybe we can move on to some fun topics.
Yes, some more positive stuff, hopefully. Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. So for those that aren't following along in our Discord chat, our resident CM informant said that the union negotiated current terms and would have to renegotiate April 18th. So
that makes sense.
That's a good sign, I guess, in the sense that like there is the chance that something more could come up, but we don't quite know what's going to happen there. Okay. On to some hopefully happier stuff. You fielded some questions from social media, Beth?
I did. We got a bunch on Instagram and nowhere else.
Well,
but that's okay. Instagram is my favorite social media too, so
I'm sure stuff will pop up too.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just start from the top. We had Naomika, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, asked if you could no longer go to one Walt Disney World park, which one would it be?
No longer?
Dude, if I hadn't ridden Rise of the Resistance, it would be so much easier to answer.
Is it that good that it really redeems it?
It's that good. It really makes the park worth going to.
Wow.
Honestly, I probably would still say Hollywood Studios. I would just be real salty about it because I only got to ride it once before I had to stop going.
Well, I mean, look, let's break this down for you. We know you're not going to stop going to Animal Kingdom.
That's correct.
Magic Kingdom's a given. Nobody's going to pick that park. And you're not going to give up drinking around the world.
No,
so
you're absolutely right. It has to be Hollywood Studios.
All right. I'm not sure.
Ryan, you act like you know me.
I think in its current state, though, I would probably say Epcot because, like, aside from drinking around the world, there's like not many things going on, and we talked about the recent entertainment cuts. So
yeah, but then you're never gonna get to see it again. You're never gonna get to see all of the new stuff that gets put in.
Yeah, but you could say the same for any park then. That logic doesn't track.
Epcot has the most, though, like new stuff coming.
I mean, yeah.
You know what's really wild, though, is if I had to choose other than Hollywood Studios, that would be the really hard question. And you know what? I'm not even going to answer it because that wasn't the question. I would say if Haunted Mansion wasn't at Magic Kingdom, I would probably say Magic Kingdom. But
really?
Yeah, I love Magic Kingdom. Don't get me wrong. It's just always the most crowded. And there are not so many rides there that are like must-dos for me. When I go on a trip, the things that I put on my must-do list, very few of them are at Magic Kingdom.
That's
aside from Hollywood Studios. This is the caveat here, is like Hollywood Studios is the choice. But if it were other than Hollywood Studios and Haunted Mansion got moved somewhere else.
I'm surprised, honestly. I think Magic Kingdom is like the one that I know I wouldn't be able to give up just because like it's the what I imagine a Disney park as.
I mean, it is like the quintessential Disney park, but I don't know. I would be sad to not be able to go to any of them, so.
Yeah, what about you, Brian? Did you have a a response to this, or are you just kind of stalling?
Oh, okay. So if not Hollywood Studios, oh man, I don't know. It would definitely come down between Animal Kingdom and Epcot, and that's such a hard pick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't know. I would very, very, very sadly, I guess, have to say Animal Kingdom, but
It's like picking your favorite child.
I know.
Yeah. Oh boy. I don't know. I still think Animal Kingdom. I don't know. I could find a reason to give up most of them, which is kind of sad. I hate to say that. But I think I could find a reason to give up most of them, though. Even though Hollywood Studios is one of my favorite parks, I would probably say that that's the one I would end up giving up.
Yeah.
You've convinced me because Epcot's got too much coming for it to be the decision.
It does. It's got such big things on the horizon.
Pun intended.
It wasn't intended, but I realized it after the fact. On the horizons.
So what else do we have, Beth?
All right. Do you guys have any embarrassing Disney memories? This is also from Naomika.
I feel like I've shared my embarrassing Disney memory on the show.
I feel like we have beaten the dead horse that is Mario's embarrassing.
Oh,
Disney
no,
memory.
that's not my embarrassing Disney
that's
memory.
not the one?
That is not my embarrassing Disney memory. I will own the fact that you can walk into the seas with Nemo and friends.
Yeah, just for anybody listening that may be tuning in for the first time or had not caught on to the fact that we keep ragging Mario about this, he thought that you could not get into the Seas Pavilion without riding the Seas with Nemo and Friends attraction. So there it is. It's laid out.
And I will own that.
Helpful hint
100%.
for people that didn't know that. You don't have to.
Yes. You can go in through the gift shop.
Oh boy. No, so my embarrassing Disney memory is that I walked into a pile of poop outside of Test Track at one point, and I swear I've told this story
Whoa.
on the show. Have I not told this? Okay.
I don't think so.
So, gosh, it was a couple of years ago. We were getting off of Test Track and we were coming out of the line. I wasn't really paying attention. I was talking to my cousin who was standing next to me. And while I was walking, there happened to be a small child like a couple feet in front of us. And my parents who were behind us swear that they saw the pile of poop roll out of the child's diaper.
Oh boy.
I do remember you telling this story because I
And
remember it being really gross.
Yeah, so apparently it rolled out of the diaper and landed in the sidewalk in front of us.
And they said nothing to you.
They said nothing. They just let me walk
this
into it.
happen.
Yep, apparently. And that's
Man,
my
your parents
embarrassing
did
Disney
you
story.
dirty.
Literally. That's my embarrassing Disney story. If you guys have one, feel free to share.
See, I am a person with very little shame. So when I have done stuff that I feel like could be considered embarrassing, I just try to own it most of the time. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but if I think of one, I'll bring it up again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think on this too. I'm sure something will hit me by the end of the episode.
Oh, come on. I feel like I was so quick to like throw that out there and you guys
Well,
just
yeah, if
backed
that
out.
had happened to me, I would have thought of that immediately
Right,
too.
right, same.
Okay, move on to the next one and then we can come back. I'm not going to let this one die. Also,
I'll keep thinking on it in the back of my head.
Also, I see Allison is in our Facebook chat. So hi, Allison. I have to give a shout out because she said hi, everyone in the chat. Okay.
Oh, nice. I need to bring that up so I can read it too, I guess. Okay.
And yeah, just for anybody in either one of the chats, if you got questions, just type them in and
Yeah.
we'll get to them.
Yes, definitely. All right. So our next question is from Danny. If you could retheme any ride, what would it be?
Ooh.
Well, I feel like I went into detail on this in one of the episodes where we got to do like blue sky Imagineering. So I'm gonna cheat and use my previous answer and say to retheme the Mexico ride as Coco.
Yeah.
That's
I
just
feel
such
like-
an easy way out, though.
And I feel like that has also been talked about on the internet several places by this point, but I want everyone to know that I thought of it first.
Of course.
And I came up with the idea that I have not seen this anywhere else, that you could make the water somehow. I know they can do it. Imagineers are amazing. They make the water look like the marigolds so that it's not water. It's you just, going through on top of the marigolds. Thank you. I think it would be cute too.
I feel like they
What
could
is
probably.
the popcorn bucket story? While we keep talking, I don't remember hearing a popcorn bucket story other than obviously my popcorn
I was going to say, is
bucket
it your
story.
popcorn bucket story? Also, I feel like they could probably do it with projection mapping. That wouldn't be too hard to do.
Yeah.
They could easily like put a projector somewhere in, and then, you would be able to show it through the stream. I feel like we have to say this just because Kirsten's not here, but do we think that she would retheme Rock and Roller Coaster to a Cher attraction?
Oh
Even
my
though
gosh.
she loves what's his name? Steven
Tyler.
Yeah. I feel like we have to obligatory Cher reference.
I feel like that's a Kirsten dream world. That's not a realistic retheming.
Well, hold on. She said to let her know if she has any questions. I will ask her.
What about you guys? Any ideas? Test track into Ant-Man in the chat.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
I could see that. That would be cool. I could see that being much cooler than actual test track, in fact.
Yeah, I feel like Test Track's kind of due for another update, retheme.
Yeah. Oh, dinosaur to Indiana Jones. I know that's been talked about in other places as well. And I did ride the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, and it was amazing. But I'm too much of a dinosaur stan to agree with that. I would say they should add the Indiana Jones ride, like just add a carbon copy on our coast. I would be cool with that.
Where would you put it if you could put it anywhere?
Oh.
I mean, I feel like it would make the most sense at Hollywood Studios since
Just
they
drop
already
it over.
have the Indiana Jones stunt show.
Just drop it over Indiana Jones stunt show.
I mean, really though, like that stunt show is cool, but like it would be cooler to have the ride.
And it
Yeah.
takes up so much space.
It
Like I
does.
enjoy it, but man, oh man, that is like it's huge.
Yeah.
So
Have you guys
Kirsten
ever gotten
responded-
picked for the
No.
volunteers? I try so hard every time I've done it and I never get picked. I want to so bad.
I feel like I have bad luck with that stuff. I'm pretty sure I've told my backlot tour story on this show before, where the last time I rode backlot tour, I got picked to be in the pre-show. And
Yeah?
right before it, like we got suited up and everything, and then a thunderstorm rolled through and they had to shut it down.
Man.
No. I was with several friends, including Joshua, who's in the chat, and they all got picked. And all of us got picked, but I told them I didn't want to do it so I could take pictures of them, which I'm really glad that I did because I got some really cool pictures. And it was really cool and funny to watch them, especially our friend Allegra. She was the one that got like completely like typhooned in the face, or not in the face, because they told her like, don't turn your head, don't turn your head. And then that wave of water came. So that was really cool. I used to get picked, just another side note, I used to get picked for the dollar bill thing at the Flights of Wonder show all the time, because as soon as they would say it, I would have it ready and just stand up and be like, give them no other choice but
Here
to
it
pick me.
is.
But
Oh goodness.
never Indiana Jones.
Uh,
Okay, so what did Kirsten say?
Kirsten responded with a GIF that just says, "Well, obviously," when I asked if she would change Rock and Roller Coaster to share if given the chance. Goodness.
Okay, so Silly Jilly, her popcorn bucket story. I do think I remember this if you told this story before. If not, it just sounds familiar for some reason. She says, a family was at Disney World and had a popcorn bucket. It was for a kid that was 3 years old in potty training, and the kid had to go, and they were in the parking lot, and it was number 2. So it happened, and there were no garbages, and she just left it there. And that's all I could think about when Beth was telling her popcorn bucket story.
Oh, so that's probably the popcorn bucket you got.
No, mine was not in a parking lot. It was at the Animal Kingdom Lodge bus stop.
So close enough.
We didn't actually use it, for the record. We just carried it
You
around
just
like
swapped
psychopaths.
it out for a new bucket.
Yes, the alien bucket.
So eventually, somewhere along the lines, that bucket probably got sanitized and reused.
Ew.
Oh.
Yes, we did not eat out of the popcorn bucket that we found.
I refuse to believe that. But
We
okay.
didn't. We did eat out of the new one, though. The alien one, because they were like, when he traded it in, they were like, do you want popcorn in it? And he was like, sure. So,
Why not?
but not the first one. I was not eating out of a popcorn bucket, abandoned popcorn bucket at a bus stop. No. And I'm glad now in this coronavirus business that I didn't.
Oh boy.
Did you guys have any ideas, or should we move on to the next question?
I am so bad at these armchair Imagineering blue sky things. So pass.
I think it would be kind of cool to do. I don't know if this would work with Space Mountain, but one thing I've always wanted in the parks was like something WALL-E related, and I'm really surprised that it's so few and far between. But I'm wondering if they could work it, that like that scene with WALL-E and Eve like out in space with, and like do that with Space Mountain. I don't know, but that's
Ooh, I like that.
You'd probably have to slow the track down a little bit, but
they
I
have
like
to
that
probably
idea.
completely redo the track, and I don't want them to do that. But that's the first thing that popped into my head.
I like that idea, though.
I do like that idea.
I do. I agree. WALL-E is very underrepresented.
Okay. I've said this 1,000 times that the only way I could see any kind of additional like revamp to the land coming would be if it was WALL-E related. I don't want Living with the Land to go, but I think that I would be okay if they did some kind of WALL-E tie-in. Unfortunately, that's probably the only way that that's ever going to come is if the land disappears or Living with the Land disappears.
Honestly, if they kept the greenhouse and just made the like animatronic scenes WALL-E, that could still work and kind of have the same essence.
I would be so down for that. Like
I would
love
too.
Living with the Land, but yeah, the animatronic scenes can, I'm not in love with them. So
Right. It's really just about the greenhouse for me.
yeah.
So here's kind of like a quick off of that question. If you could tie in IPs to certain Epcot attractions, since that seems to be the way that we're headed, where do you think the quote unquote perfect fits for them would be? Like, I don't necessarily want that to happen, but I think if WALL-E came to the land, that's a good fit. It works for the theme.
Yeah.
The movie kind of relates to it. Are there any other ones that you think would tie in with that as well? I know we've kind of said Finding Nemo doesn't necessarily hit the seas, so maybe change that out for something that is more about conservation, if there's anything, or whatever. I know that's a little bit more of a harder one. Because it's also like asking you to give up your favorite child.
Yeah. I
I know
mean,
we've talked before about trying to work Inside Out into the Imagination Pavilion. That just seems like a no-brainer.
yeah.
At least at this point, like.
But can they
Figment
like
is so
be
dead.
friends? Can they be like friends with Figment in the ride? So he doesn't like completely lose his representation?
Yeah. I mean,
Please. You can bring back Dreamfinder. and make
could-
it like a Dreamfinder in a different dimension and or something, or inside of Dreamfinder's head. And I don't know. I just don't want Figment to leave.
I think Figment has staying power in the sense that they use him as like the festival mascots, which I don't know if that hurts any more or less. But I think that's why they can't really add Inside Out in unless they have a tie-in with Figment. That would make the most sense.
I mean, Spike the Bee is trying to be a new mascot of Flower and Garden Festival, and nobody cares about him at all.
All
They're
right,
still trying to
that's
make that
fair.
happen.
In our chat, Brondo Giant says Mission Space seems to be a decent fit too. I'm assuming for Wally,
that would be good.
that's a really good fit, I think.
Yeah, that could
yeah.
be really cool, actually, if they like changed the, I don't know, intro video to like animated, like the captain from Wally or something.
Just
And
make
they
it
made the
green
mission.
size.
Just make it the green side.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. It's not like it would really kill the ride any. I think even if you did like scenes from Wally in the Mission Space Simulator, it wouldn't kill the ride any either.
I would actually ride the green side again if they did that.
I think as long as they don't go into like the World Showcase stuff, that's where I think a lot of people tend to have more of a problem with it. But I don't know. I think you could probably fit an IP in almost any of the pavilions that are there now.
I mean,
And you
there's like
think
I mean,
at least one movie in that country, you know, for almost every country. So
yeah.
don't tempt Disney; they'll do it.
What's in Italy? What would you put in? What could be if we were, you know, money grabbing IP shovers? What would we put in Italy?
Huh?
I
Good
feel like that's
question.
the one.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp. Thanks,
Good call.
Gilly in the chat. That was
I mean,
an obvious one that we
isn't
both
that
missed.
set in America though? It's just the Italian restaurant.
Is it? I'm not
I'm pretty sure it's set in the United States.
Pinocchio.
Oh,
Pinocchio,
yeah.
TMG
no,
said
Pinocchio's German, I think.
that. All right.
All right, well, I guess Disney needs to come out with an animated movie set in Italy.
I
Yeah,
feel
definitely Mulan in China.
Yeah.
You already have the Aladdin meet and greet in Morocco.
So, Pinocchio is Italy. I am looking
Oh, it
at a map
is.
right
Okay,
now.
my
It is
bad.
Italy. I'm
Well, there you
looking at-
go.
Here is a I'm going to link this in our chat, a Mashable article that has a map of where every Disney movie is set.
Ah.
If you were really curious.
Are they saying that Dumbo is set in Florida?
It looks
Is
like
where it's
it.
pointing to.
Weird.
So DMG also said, what if you had an enormous ride that hit all of World Showcase? Theme it like Monsters Inc. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that because I don't know that it would fit, but I like the idea of them, like he said, going through the doors and it just hits all of the different countries.
I like the concept a lot. I feel
I
like
think-
that could be cool.
I think if they were going to retheme, like do a door coaster, they could probably do that where Rock and Roller Coaster is.
They could definitely do that where Rock and Roller Coaster is.
I think that's like the most unfortunately expendable roller coaster on Disney property.
I mean, honestly, if you really think about it, Rock and Roller Coaster does not even fit in. Not that Hollywood Studios, like we've discussed before, has a solid theme at this point, but it really doesn't fit into the idea of being in the movies anyway.
Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't fit in the old Hollywood themed section either, for sure.
Well,
Right. It was
here's-
basically like Aerosmith was like, hey, here's a bunch of money, put us in the park.
Here's the thing that it seems like they're trying to do, and I don't necessarily agree or disagree with this. It seems like half the park is be in the movies, which is a cool concept, but Disney needs to commit to it.
That's
Yeah.
the issue.
Yeah, so if they, the problem is half of the park is old Hollywood and half of the park is immersive movie lands. And there's no sign that Disney is going to 100% commit to that because one, they would have to level the other half of Hollywood Studios. And at this point, why do that? It would make the park a half-day park again, and they don't want to do that. And at the same time, you have the transitions from land to land that don't make sense either. Like, I don't like the transition of Toy Story Land to Galaxy's Edge. I think that's
What
kind
transition?
of rough.
I was about to
Exactly.
say, you mean the step that you take in between?
Right, and that's what I mean. They would have to fully commit to that too, being like a bridge between those lands in a way that makes actual cohesive sense, and they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But if they did that, then I would not be opposed to like Sunset Boulevard becoming a Pixar Place style area where they have different Pixar rides, because you could still kind of tie most of them together somehow, at least in a small enough way. I don't know. I'm still hoping that they bring Cars Land to DHS 2. That would be the dream. Absolutely immersive land theming to the park that's supposed to be Step Into the Movies.
Maybe they could, instead of Cars Land, like all of it, they could just bring that one ride that everyone loves that I didn't get a chance to ride, and they could put that where Rock and Roller Coaster is. Because that's right beside Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy.
That's true.
You know, as much as I agree that like the theming of Rock and Roller Coaster be just like completely redone, I love the coaster so much. Like, I would hate to see it actually replaced with something.
But
See, I like Rock and Roller Coaster until my last time, because I swear I got a concussion. I was in like the last car, and it was so rough that I legitimately was like, I have a mild concussion and I'm at the park by myself right now. So I'm like, maybe I will like it, but only if I sit at the front. I'm gonna stand in that separate line from now on. It was just too rough at the back.
yeah, I think that of all the things they could do, a Monsters Inc. roller coaster would be one of the things I would be most okay with. And I think that it could work out super well because they can just easily theme it to, like, you know, you're trying to save Boo, you're with Mike and Sully, and you're riding through that. It's the end of the movie. That's all they need to do. Carly in the chat says,
yes.
"Worst
I
retheme
don't
Country
even
Bear
like that this
Jamboree."
was typed out.
I know, I was about to say, if you could have seen my face when I read that.
Country
I don't
Bear
like seeing this in
Jamboree.
writing.
Country Bear Jamboree to Home on the Range. For those of you that are listening later or are not in the chat right now.
Oh goodness.
Um,
I might stop going to Disney World, just full stop.
Protest. Yikes.
So Graceful Blitz in the chat says, do we think Disney could benefit from adding some Kingdom Hearts theme stuff, or would there not really be enough demand or desire from guests for it to be lucrative? I have feelings on that. I don't know if you guys want to go first, because I think I could probably ramble on that one for a little bit.
I think that there would be demand for it, because I'm like not a video game player for the most part, but Kingdom Hearts 3 is like one game that actually, update for those of you guys who were keeping up in the video games Discord. I got my boyfriend to mute the pirates thing for me so that I could finally move on to San Francisco and finish the game. So I'm working on that now. But
You're so close.
I know, circling back, I did play everything up until that point, and I'm not a video game player. So I feel like that, speaks volumes. Is that you take Disney fans, and then you take video game fans, and then you take Final Fantasy kind of fans. Isn't that like kind of the point of the game? I feel like there would be a demand.
All right.
But maybe not in like the parks, maybe at like Disney Springs.
That's where I think, yeah.
So here's my thoughts, and I feel like this is going to be so anti everything that I feel about Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is probably one of my favorite video game franchises. But I don't think that there is too much of a benefit for them because it's such a niche group of people. Like you kind of said, Beth, there's 3 categories of people that really enjoy Kingdom Hearts. And when you look at that on a whole, I don't think that it would be super beneficial. Like adding a meet and greet for those characters, it feels like it's too small of a margin for them to see like any kind of need for it. However, I do think Disney definitely does have the costumes. We've seen that before, that they've got the Donald costume, the Goofy costume, and I think they may even have a Sora costume. But I think if they added them to special events, that would be the big sell, because that would be where, like, for example, the 90s night that they did at Disneyland, where they put out the older like Disney afternoon cartoon characters as meet and greets. You know, a lot of people went for the chance to meet those characters, and there definitely is a margin of people where that's what they want to do, is they want to meet characters at the parks. Yes, I see the Sora in the chat, and it is nightmare fuel.
It is nightmare fuel.
But I think that would be the best thing, would be to like throw them in as a like Disney After Hours thing, where it's like you can meet these characters,
like an exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I have an idea, and I think it's a great one. They should make a Kingdom Hearts Void game.
That would be
at
interesting.
The Void, because they got Wreck-It Ralph, they got Star Wars. Kingdom Hearts, I feel like it's, although I don't know if it's definitely not as big as Star Wars, but I feel like it's probably on par with Wreck-It Ralph, or like Disney fans would do it for that.
So the hang up with that would be, and I don't know why I know this, apparently the licensing for Kingdom Hearts is very weird. I think Disney owns any characters that weren't in the Final Fantasy games alongside of their characters, and Final Fantasy, or Square Enix, owns all the Final Fantasy characters, but I think they partially own some of them. Like Sora might be someone that they can't necessarily use. And I think that would be a huge problem, because they're probably not going to play nice about that. We've seen Disney not play nice with that. I think Sora might be the one that they can't really use, which is why his costume characters only every now and then.
Was he in Final Fantasy?
He was not. Pretty much all of the characters that are associated with him are original characters.
Because I feel like if they weren't actually in a Final Fantasy game, that probably means that Disney made them, right?
Well, Square Enix still put out all the games, so I can see
that's the problem.
Okay, yeah.
So the games are technically published by Square, but Disney owns the rights to their original characters, and I don't know. There's probably some weird licensing thing. I know there was some licensing issues with, like, I think Tarzan was one that they had some weird hangups on, because
it was like, Rosie O'Donnell, because she had. I know Rosie O'Donnell's like Turk. Yeah. Her character, she had some weird thing in her contract where they couldn't use the character without her permission or something.
Yeah,
or
there's like,
he had to get like certain amount of royalties, and they didn't want to pay that much.
Right. And I think there was a couple other things with it too, like with the actual like Tarzan story. There was some issues with that, because I feel like I remember reading that too. I don't know. I feel like there's too many weird licensing issues around Kingdom Hearts for it to be viable to Disney.
Yeah. I have a semi-related question for you hardcore Kingdom Hearts fans, because the third one is the only one I played. Are there Final Fantasy characters in that, or are all those Kingdom Hearts characters?
3? No. I don't think so. Someone's going to tell me, apparently in the DLC there is.
But not in like the game part that I would have. Like
in like the mainline one, there shouldn't be, which is weird, because like a lot of them play a big part in the first 2. So if you go back, there's Final Fantasy characters for sure in the first 2, but in the third one, they, I guess, tried to focus more on the Disney stories and wrapping it up.
Word. I gotta say, I had no idea what was going on in most of the cut scenes.
You could watch the funny thing about Kingdom Hearts is you could watch a like hour-long video on the story if you really wanted to, or just pretend that you know absolutely nothing and be on the same page as everyone else.
Yeah, Joshua is probably like fussing at me in his head right now because he sent me a video to watch before I played it, and I didn't because I was like, yeah, I don't want to. And then I had no idea what was going on, and I was just like, it's fine. I'm just here for the Disney. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'll wait until you're done, and then we can talk about it in private. I have my gripes about that game in general.
it's very confusing to someone who didn't play the first two, and also, did they really need to make the names that hard to
Yes,
like
they
remember? Because that made it even worse.
They
He's
absolutely
like, oh,
did.
I'll get you Xenahort and Argasaw, and I was like, what? What are these?
I think
Josh was like, oh my god, stop.
I think Beth explaining Kingdom Hearts characters is up there with my new favorite game, alongside of Brian explains DComs. Oh. So what else do you have, Beth?
All right. If Magic Kingdom was empty besides cast members and you, where would you go /ride/eat first? And this came from Allison on Instagram, not Allison Kirsten's Alley, but a different Allison. Well, I would definitely get some fries at Casey's because not having to wait for them would be awesome.
All right. This is hard because my instinct is to say ride Peter Pan because that line has a really like long wait. That and Seven Dwarfs, but honestly, I think I've said this before. Neither of those to me are worth the wait that they have normally.
Agree.
So it's
I
like
would do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but I would actually go through the queue because I've never done that.
it's the problem
Just
with Seven
to do
Doors
it.
Mine Train is that the only part of the queue that's worth it is the end of the queue.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're already so close because all of the interactive elements are at that one section where you can play with the gems in the fountain, which I don't even think is on anymore. And then you also have the spinning barrel things. Like that's the one section that's interactive. I think Peter Pan actually has a more thorough interactive queue than that does, which is sad.
Yeah. That's true. I do like the Peter Pan queue. I would just do the queue and then not ride the ride of Peter Pan.
The problem for me though, I love Magic Kingdom for the park, but I don't necessarily love all of the attractions in Magic Kingdom, at least enough to wait in long enough lines for them. So typically I don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know. I feel like that like betrays the inner Disney nerd in me.
I feel like I would have a very different answer to this question if Magic Kingdom was empty without cast members. Where would you go? Because then I would go everywhere.
Well, yeah, and the thing of it is like my favorite attractions in Magic Kingdom don't typically have long wait times. Like I love Carousel of Progress. I love People Mover. Those are probably like top 3 alongside Haunted Mansion, which Haunted Mansion has a long enough wait, but like if you plan it right, you can always get on Haunted Mansion fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Like those are the 3 that I feel like I always have to ride in Magic Kingdom. And of those 3, like usually what's the most that you would ever wait for them? A half hour? That's not that bad. I also don't mind waiting in lines, and that doesn't. Yeah.
Well, that is something we do not have in. I hate waiting in lines.
I feel like I do, but waiting in lines at Disney, there's something different.
I'm pretty much the type of person, if I walk up to something and it says more than 25 minutes, I'm like, I'm good.
How do you even do Disney then?
Very casually and fast pass.
All right, fair. That's usually what I do, but
there are a few things I would wait a while for. Like I waited, I think the longest I've ever waited for an attraction, like hand to God, I waited like 45 to 50 minutes for Flight of Passage at the end of the day once.
Here's an interesting thought for you. So we've shared our thoughts on boarding groups, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Where do we stand on that? Just a refresher. Where does everybody feel like?
I love that idea. I think it's great.
I like it. I like it as an option. I know that's kind of a cop out, sitting on the fence type of thing. I like it as an option for certain stuff, but I do think that the queues for a lot of rides really add something to them.
So, question: if you could take the queue from any ride and turn it into either a boarding group system or like a queueless wait system, which one would it be?
Space Mountain. I think Space Mountain's queue is not up to par with a lot of the other stuff at Magic Kingdom. Like, I don't think Space Mountain's queue adds anything to the ride.
I think Soarin' has the worst queue ever.
Oh, definitely Soarin' too. Yeah, that's probably a better pick.
Okay. Maybe
but I agree with Space Mountain in the sense that like it's cool that they have the little games to play, but you don't stand at one place long enough to actually play them most of the time.
Yeah. I also think both of the rides in Pandora should have opened with a waitlist queue system. I don't know. I agree with Navi River Journey. Like that queue adds nothing to it for me, but then again, the ride adds nothing to it for me either, pretty much, except for the animatronic at the end. Yeah. But I actually think that Flight of Passage's queue is amazing, especially once you get towards the end, obviously with, the Avatar and the tank and the lab stuff and whatever. But like even the outside parts and like the parts where you're in the little cave, I think all of that stuff is really cool and you have like a lot to look at and a lot to absorb. Mm-hmm. But I think boarding groups could have been and still could be beneficial for that in the sense that you come and you expect to wait like 30 minutes and then you have time to absorb that stuff and you don't have to wait 2 hours. So hear me out. If they did any kind of queueless wait system, I think that would open up enough of the land where you could add another ride. I think Flight of Passage's queue, with how long it is and how far it stretches into the actual land, still, I think that is enough real estate to open a third attraction in Pandora, which you could arguably move all of the cool things from the queue in Flight of Passage, like all the lab stuff and the floating Avatar too.
I mean, yeah, the queue does literally have enough space to hold 5+ hours worth of people, but I don't know if it's realistic to think you could add an entire new attraction there.
I feel like
attractions take a lot more space than we perceive them to.
That's true. I mean, they definitely do, but I also think that Flight of Passage's queue is just way too long and annoying for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. If you added an attraction like in the same vein as Flight of Passage, where it wasn't something that physically moved around in a space.
Yeah, well, okay. So for perspective, the last time I was in Pandora, and this is why I will not do anything in Pandora unless it's under like a very short wait, which I don't see happening at all, or if I have a fast pass. The last time I was in there, the queue for Flight of Passage wrapped around through Pandora, all the way back, went down to Africa, wrapped back around, and then came in through like the front half of like Pandora again to go into the line. It's just, there's so much space that queue eats up, and it just stretches so far outside. I don't know. I hate it. I hate so much about that queue.
You know what I would like to see, and probably would never happen, but if they were able to set up some kind of, queueless wait system like that, use that space and do almost kind of like a Swiss Family Treehouse / Tom Sawyer Island, like explore around Pandora like section. I would be so down for that.
I agree. I think that would be cool, and it would add a lot more to the land if they had some kind of walkthrough thing, and it would eat a lot of the people that are there.
Yeah.
Did I deviate too far from the original question? I'm sorry.
What was the original question?
I don't know.
We got pretty far. If Magic Kingdom was empty besides cast members and you, where would you go, ride, eat first?
We're
Oh,
only in
yeah.
a completely different part.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
went all the way to another park.
I think eating is kind of hard because previously I probably would have said be our guest, but like ever since they changed the menu, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but you could experience the atmosphere without all the people, and I feel like that would be worth it.
That's true. I think if it weren't like, I have this gripe now, and I don't know if this is me being like Disney elitist, where like I don't think Magic Kingdom has good food options, and just solely based on like eating in the parks, I don't know if I would eat anywhere in Magic Kingdom.
Ooh,
but
Skipper
atmosphere wise,
Canteen,
That was
though.
gonna be mine,
Eh.
Skipper Canteen.
Getting to walk around and look at all that stuff without people in there,
okay, yeah, that's fair.
that would be
fair.
great.
I do think that is. I always forget about Skipper Canteen, but I think that is probably the best food option in Magic Kingdom.
Totally agree.
But rides, that's a whole nother ball field that I don't know if I have an answer for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe like I would try to hit the ones that have longer lines normally. So like I said, Seven Dwarfs, Peter Pan, those would be the ones I would probably hit, and then be like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna do Disney the way I normally do Disney, slow
Yeah.
and ride what I can.
I like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, as I called it to Caleb, baby's first coaster, but it's not worth any amount of wait more than like 20 minutes. So I think this is the ideal situation to ride it, is when you can literally walk onto it.
Absolutely. And I think that it's good for that. Like it's good for a light coaster. And I don't know that like if you were looking for a thrill of any kind, like Seven Doors Mine Train is going to be that, because it's just too short. And that's my only gripe with it. I think the coaster is cool. I
Mhm.
think the reuse of some of the older animatronics is neat. Like I like a lot about it, but I just think it has too long of a line, and the ride is just not long at all. Carly also
Yeah.
said in our chat, Astro Orbiter, if open, just to see the empty park. I really like that idea.
That would be cool.
As long as I
Although-
was in the shuttle by myself. It's just me, that's fine. I don't understand how they think that two adults can fit into one of those comfortably.
Oh, we fit into one on our last trip when we did Astro Orbiter for whatever reason, and it was
Not fun.
not fun. Those things are too small.
Yeah, they were made for people, Americans in the 70s, not Americans in the 2000s.
Oh goodness. So
we wanna
next
move on?
question, yeah.
So Megan asked, has coronavirus added anything to Beth's Disney death spreadsheet? And I guess I'll answer that question since it's directed towards me. I will say that I don't think that we will ever be able to know the answer to that question because, well, first of all, my spreadsheet is specifically for people who have died on property or died as a direct result of, you know, something on property, like, you know, an attraction or whatever. And I'm sure that it's completely possible that somebody contracted coronavirus at the parks and unfortunately potentially died from it, but I don't think that there's any way to establish that that's where they contracted it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't
Well,
think
there's-
that there's really an answer that I can
There-
definitively give.
There's been a lot of news articles of people that were at Disney like previously, but I don't think it's fair to like say if that is or isn't where it came from because we don't know, like you said. It's-
Right, like if they went to a grocery store the day before they went into the parks or a gas station or whatever, there's no way to know exactly where they got it.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. This is from Mish Church. I don't know if I'm saying that username correctly, but which host has been to Disney the most number of times? I'm gonna take a guess and say probably Brian.
I think it's got to be me.
It's got to be you, yeah.
At least, definitely, if you're not counting working there, I would
yeah, I was
say
gonna
maybe
say.
Kirsten with her college program. But I still think that Brian probably would have her beat if you actually tallied it up.
I would
Yeah.
really like that is one of my like life stat things that I would love to be able to look up is just how many days I spent in the park.
I try to keep a spreadsheet, like a little, of course, me keeping a spreadsheet. Who would have thought? And I don't have it on me right now. I could pull it up, but I've had like 25 trips, but going to like individual parks, that's the part that I'm still kind of like trying to work back on and backtrack
Like in park
through.
days kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would bank on the fact that it's probably Brian, or if we're counting Kirsten's college program, Kirsten.
But I will say, I still think it, even if we did add Kirsten stuff in, that it would probably still be Brian, considering her college program was years and years ago, and he's like actively gone like once a month at least.
Mr. Local Life.
Lucky.
Not gonna complain. It's pretty sweet.
All right. So we have Kristen from Instagram who asks, if you could have one job at the Disney parks, what would it be?
Jungle Cruise skipper.
Yeah,
That's a really good one.
That's an easy one.
I think that would be really fun. I think it would also be one of the Kilimanjaro safari drivers.
Yeah, that would be too.
Or I am surprised that this wasn't on Brian's list. The person that introduces country bears. I feel like that's a fun one too.
That would be a good one.
I feel like country bears is one of those things that like is best enjoyed not every 5 minutes.
See, I'm even gonna agree with that, and I would be so upset if I ever had a job that made me like get tired of country bears.
Aww.
So.
I do like whoever suggested in the chat, Trader Sam's.
Joshua's Trader Sam's server. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I do enjoy that. I think that's probably, honestly, anywhere that you can really enjoy what you do, I think is just like the dream job. Honestly, even former host at Whispering Canyon, that would have been a good one too, because like anywhere that you can really just like have a good time. As weird as that sounds, because it's like so easy. Guest relations tour guide, that's another good one.
I want to be the person that releases the sword and the stone. That sounds like a really easy and fun job. Do you just like wait around for the right person?
I feel like all of the ones that I would say are dream jobs are gone now, because I would also say like one of the performers in Great Moments in History, but like rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised, Beth, that you didn't say you'd want to do the Flights of Wonder.
Oh, that's a good one too. Although I haven't seen the new show.
Every time.
I would add the dollar bill thing back into the show. Because you
Carly
said it's gone now, right?
The last time I went, they did not do the dollar bill.
Boo.
Mm-hmm.
Carly in our chat also said that she would work as a bartender in La Cava. That would be a fun one. I think that they know way too much about tequila for me to ever want to do that.
She said she's a bartender at a tequila bar already, so she would fit right in.
So she fit right in, yeah.
That's cool.
Side tangent just off of that. I don't know if we've ever done, I know we've talked about drinking in the parks, but Beth, I guess also Brian too, but underrated drinking locations in the park, because La Cava was always on mine. But that feels like it's pretty mainstream right now.
I was about to say
it's so crowded. Yeah,
it's always crowded. Nomad Lounge has started to pick up a following, so it's a little crowded usually now too. But if you sit out on the back patio on a nice day, it's really nice.
Tune In is also a really good one.
Oh yes, I love Tune In.
I think we've talked about Tune In a couple times.
I really like Oga's Cantina, and
oh yes,
I think they're doing a pretty good job of limiting the amount of people that can go in there at a time. So I think that'll help keep the theming and the kind of cool, atmosphere they have going on there. So
Yeah, the servers there are awesome. They like genuinely being there.
mhm.
That's another. I would enjoy being a server at Oga's. I think that's a good role to pick up.
Yeah, that would be fun.
All right, you can move on to the next one.
Okay. All right. Isabel has the next 3 questions. The first one being, do you have any money saving tips for someone who lives far and can't drive to the parks?
I guess this would probably be good for me since I'm the furthest. Money saving tips. Google Flights is good to track flights. I'm actually probably the worst person to ask about flights in general, but we usually kind of plan for the general amount that they typically are, which for us anywhere from like $100 to $200. But outside of that, checking like the price trackers on sites like Touring Plans. I think Touring Plans is a great tool to use. Even if you use it just for the crowd calendars, but they have like historic price things as well, which is great. We've done, if you use a Target Red card, you can buy gift cards for Disney, like in general, and Disney accepts gift cards as payment, and it saves you 5% on every gift card you buy. But obviously credit cards are not the right advice for everyone, so take that with a grain of salt. Disney Visa is also a good one that you can get rewards for. We kind of use that as, I think Brian and I have both talked about this. We use this as like a daily credit card and you get the points for it. So that's a good one to have.
It's me and my wife's our main card.
Yeah. But
I would also say look into other credit cards if that's a route that you want to go, because like I think that the Disney Visa is good to have for the perks of getting, well, you used to get into the Chase Lounge when they had it, but also there's still like the special meet and greets as far as like last time I checked, and you get discounts on certain things. But there are definitely credit cards that have better rewards.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember. It's like the City Thank You card. There's one specifically, I think it's just called City Thank You, that entertainment is one of their categories that you get like 3% cash back on. So if you're in a theme park, I'm pretty sure if you use that, then you get 3% cash back, which is the highest that I've seen at, just on entertainment in general. Not one of the like, rotating category type of cards where you get 5%.
Yeah, and I definitely say like I enjoy the card because it gives me my rewards in a Disney redeemable gift card, and it kind of forced me to do something fun with it. But yeah, from like a strictly financial perspective, it is probably not the best way to go if you're looking just to capitalize on it as much as possible.
I think,
but they do have deals sometimes where if you like sign up for an account, you get $150 or $200 gift card, like Disney gift card, if you spend a certain amount of money. So if you're already going to spend that amount of money, you might as well.
And even to bounce off of credit cards after this one, because I feel like credit cards are not the advice for everyone. Airline credit cards are also an option too, but like as is with every card, just like make sure you're looking into it, make sure it's not something you're overusing, be smart with it. I will also say, we've talked about the value of an annual pass before. That's worth it for some people, depending on how you plan your trips.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know people that are up here that have annual passes because it works out better for them. DVC rental is also a thing that can save you a ton of money. If resort is a thing that you value, but you want to get it for a decent price, you can find DVC rentals. I wish Kirsten was here to talk about this because she's definitely the one that would know more information about that. But you can find DVC rentals around the price of like a lot of the moderate resorts if you plan it right.
Yeah. I would also say if you are a big eater and you are going with a large group, to check out and see if Tables in Wonderland would be a good option for you. I think you can only get it if you're an annual pass holder or a Florida resident, though, so I don't know if it applies in this situation.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But if you're an annual pass holder, I think it's $150, and you get 20% off food and including alcoholic beverages, which is a huge value if you drink like I do. At a lot of places, mostly table service though.
I think ultimately what it comes down to, at least with money saving, is like planning everything. Because I hate to say that because we've talked about how that can ruin a trip, but really, if you watch everything on your spending for a Disney vacation, you can come down to like what you do and don't need. For example, I've talked up the dining plan a lot. I really like the dining plan. I think it's great for people that don't want to have to budget the money on their trip, but you do end up paying more for the dining plan. So
yeah, I feel the dining plan, like I said, if you're a big eater, can be a good value. Or like you said, if you just want to put the money away and you have it and you don't have to worry about money anymore, like on budgeting money for food. I have never personally found the dining plan to have enough value for me because I felt like forced, like I would be forced to eat certain places. And I'm not a big like meal person. I'm more of a snack and go. Like I like the festival kiosks because it's small portions and I can eat several different things and not just sit down at one big meal. So it just really depends on, like you said, Mario, your touring style and
right. Well, and you can break down your dining plan credits into snack credits too. I don't know if you knew that, but
yeah.
It's
but how many bags of Goofy's Coke candy do you really want to take home?
I just meant like I think some of the kiosks let you break it down for that too. But same time, same thing. I think when it comes to finding the value in that, it's not going to be for the person that's trying to pinch their pennies. Like like everybody said, it's a lot of food, and then you do kind of feel forced to eat it. I think it only specifically works out for me, and the only reason I champion it so much is because I think it works if you just don't want to budget the money for it. I like to just have that thrown aside and be like, I'm not going to worry about paying for food on this trip other than the tip, which like that's who that's for. So things like that, I think are obvious. Like you can cut that. Even staying at a value resort, if you're not going to be in the resort a lot, there's a lot of, like that's a pretty underrated option. You could stay at like Pop is a pretty good value resort. I think that's a fair place to spend your money if you're not trying to be like, nicest resort and all that.
Absolutely no shame in staying at a value because that's literally, other than Port Orleans, I've only stayed at Pop and All Star Movies. And the room that I had at Pop was refurbished, and the rooms that I've had at All Stars are refurbished, and it's just a perfectly fine hotel room, clean. Being on property, you can't beat it. Don't feel like you have to stay at a moderate or a deluxe unless you really want to, because you do still get a huge value staying literally at a value.
I will say that with the All-Stars, a lot of the flack that they get are that you have to ride, like share the same bus loop as all of the other All-Stars, which is a pain. I will admit that 100%. But if you're only going into the park and out of the park, you're going to ride it once or twice on your day. You're going to ride it in and out. That's it. Other than that, the rooms are fine to stay in. Like, there's nothing wrong there.
Even when you stay at Port Orleans, which is moderate, you have to share with French Quarter sometimes. And the buses make 1 billion stops in Magnolia Bend, which is where I stayed. And so you're still going to have to wait regardless a lot of times. The only time I feel like you're going to have a very efficient bus ride is if you're staying at a deluxe. And I don't think that staying at a deluxe just for the efficient bus ride is a good value.
Definitely not.
And to that point, it's also more noticeable on the values because you end up like getting on the bus with everyone from that one resort. So like,
yes,
you see the whole traffic coming in.
I'll also say a little unknown pro tip that we didn't intend on last time, but actually worked out really well. We did not request to stay in Mighty Ducks when Caleb and I went on our trip last month, but that is where we got put. It's fine because all of the rooms at All Star Movies have been refurbished at this point, so we weren't super gonna complain about it. But the place that our room was situated was actually closer for us to walk to the All Star Music bus stop than the All Star Movies bus stop. So take a look at your map if you do decide to stay somewhere like that, and just make sure that your bus stop is the closest one, because that was not the case for us. And All Star Movies gets picked up first, like before All Star Music gets picked up before All Star Movies. So
you can also request rooms through their guest service email. It's not always going to happen, just like everything with Disney. Like, take it like the best you can. Be nice about it. Hope for like or plan for the worst and hope for the best. But if there is a specific section of the resort, you can specifically ask for that. So like if you are staying there, you can request for the Mighty Ducks rooms if you want to.
Yeah, and I have had experiences both ways. Like when we stayed at Port Orleans, actually, if you're a touring plan subscriber, you can look at their like suggested rooms. They'll submit the request for you, like they'll fax it in or whatever. And when we stayed at Port Orleans, I requested like an exact room because it was a corner room and it had a really nice view. It was in one of the mansions. I was like, this is the room that I want. And that's the exact room that I got, and it was awesome. But there were other times where I requested a room and I got, the same building, but not the exact room. And then there's times like last time where I requested a specific section and I got absolutely zero of what I requested. But it's okay. It doesn't hurt to request is the whole point.
I think we have time for a couple more questions because we're just pushing over an hour now. So if you have any more in the chat, let us know. And then Beth, you can run through the last couple ones that we have. Okay.
So Isabel also asked, what are your favorite non-haunted mansion attractions? You think you got a bunch of Haunted Mansion fans on this podcast, huh?
I mean, Haunted Mansion 3 times is my top 3 favorite Magic Kingdom rides.
Obviously,
no.
Flight of Passage and Rise of the Resistance. I feel like those are pretty standard answers.
Going with all the new ones.
But
classic. I still love Pirates and Jungle Cruise.
Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise is definitely a favorite.
We've talked at length about how much we love Jungle Cruise.
I love Kilimanjaro safaris because I'm a big nature nerd.
So park to park, not Haunted Mansion. Let's see. I've got Jungle Cruise for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Spaceship Earth. I don't know how that's going to be now that they're refurbing it. Hollywood Studios. Going to go with a left field pick and say Slinky Dog.
Maybe second coaster.
Yeah. I think Slinky Dog is such an underrated ride. I mean, it's got a long wait, but now that Star Wars is open, I think it's going to start dying down a little bit more. And I really think that that's probably one of the best rides there. It might just be because it's still pretty new. And then Animal Kingdom, I would probably say Kilimanjaro Safaris too, if I wasn't going to go Flight of Passage.
It's a good list. Yeah. I'm going to go park to park. I'm going to agree with you in Magic Kingdom. Say Jungle Cruise. Animal Kingdom, it's a tough pick for me between Flight of Passage and Everest.
Mm-hmm.
Epcot, I'm going Living with the Land. And Hollywood Studios, I'm going with Tower of Terror.
All right. Circle it around. Least favorite ride, park to park.
Oh.
I think that's a lot harder.
All right, let's start at Magic.
Really? That's easy for me.
Really? Okay. Start at Magic.
Okay, hang on. Magic Kingdom's actually hard for me.
All right,
not so much.
Let's start at Hollywood Studios then.
Oh, okay. That's easy. Are we doing... Wait, hold on. We have to clarify. Are we doing not show attractions or...
Oh, that makes a big difference.
If you don't do shows...
I think... Okay.
If you do not shows, I think that makes it a lot harder because everyone's going to say Little Mermaid at Hollywood Studios. There's no doubt in my mind.
Whoa.
I wasn't going to say that.
Beast live on stage.
All right, that too, but same thing.
I haven't done Disney Junior live on the stage, but that was going to be my pick, even though I haven't done it.
So
Thank you, Figment. I also agree. I actually like Boy Little Mermaid.
Do you
so
really?
Honestly,
I do.
I did it on my last trip, and other than the really old grainy footage, it's not bad. It's not as bad as I remembered anyway. I feel like it's completely replaceable, but I wouldn't say that it's a terrible attraction. It's just not something that I would waste a bunch of time on.
It's definitely replaceable because it's literally just in a theater with gaming, so.
All right, so if you had to cut a ride from Hollywood Studios, moving vehicle is the caveat. I have one.
All right.
I don't know if anybody else does. And I'm sorry because I feel bad saying this, but I would cut Alien Swirling Saucers. I'm sorry, Teresa.
That's the pick. No, that is definitely the pick.
I haven't ridden it, but I don't disagree with that.
If I remember, I'm pretty sure that's where Teresa works, and I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. She says, I'm hurt.
Well, Beth, just to let you know, riding it is only slightly more exciting than watching it. So you've gotten about 95% of the joy out of it.
Okay.
Let me ask this. You may be hurt, but do you disagree? But any other picks for Hollywood Studios that are your least favorite? Moving vehicle attractions.
That's the pick. I don't.
Yeah.
Highly disagree.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, Teresa, what would be your pick of cuttable attractions, like moving vehicle attractions in Hollywood Studios? And then we can move on to the park. Star Tours. Oh, that's the hot take there.
Ooh.
That is a very hot take. I love Star Tours.
I feel like it's very divisive though, so I can see that.
Though I think
that's the tea.
The problem with Star Tours, I think, though, is it's in such a weird spot now because of the distance from Galaxy's Edge to where it is.
Yeah, it is.
So let's see. Animal Kingdom attraction you would cut, like moving vehicle attraction.
Triceratops.
Yeah. Yep. All right, maybe this is a lot easier than I thought. Epcot?
Figment.
Really? I wouldn't go that far.
I would. If something had to go, moving vehicle. I love Figment. Don't get me wrong. Like, I am one of the biggest Figment. I'm literally drinking out of a Figment cup right now, y'all.
Do you love Figment or do
I love Figment.
Journey into Imagination
I do not love Journey with
That's
Figment.
the
That's
difference.
that's the sad thing.
This is a hard one because I think that Journey into Imagination, if you were cutting it, like cutting the ride completely, getting rid of it completely, least favorite ride, I kind of agree there. But if you were gonna completely demolish it and get rid of it, I still hold out hope that they're gonna change it to something. So I don't necessarily want it to go. But least favorite ride, probably. Yeah, I would probably agree. As much as I love. I would also say agree with DMG in the chat who says
I would say
Three Caballeros.
Three Caballeros is a close second.
The hard thing about Three Caballeros, and the reason I think this may be my least favorite, because
it's actually called Grand Fiesta Tour. Let's not forget.
All right,
that.
Okay. The reason I hate Grand Fiesta Tour so much is because of all the attractions in Epcot, I think this one's crammed into such a space that they can't really do too much with it. We talked kind of before about putting Coco in there, and the hard problem with that would be the queue space. There's not enough space to put anything really new in there, but yeah, that would be the biggest problem that I think that
that queue is awful.
I think for the sake of putting something in there, it's fine. Other than that, just forget it.
Yeah.
So we've got Magic Kingdom is the last one we have to come to. Least favorite attraction there.
We had to circle back to it.
We did. You thought I was going to forget.
Are we not all going to say the Speedway?
Oh, God. What an easy answer. I didn't as soon as that came to my brain, that's what I would have said. Thank you for bringing it up.
Outside of the Speedway, though, I feel like we've beat up on that at least every other episode. If you
it
had to pick
deserves
another one.
it.
All right.
All right. Other than the Speedway,
I am gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and I'm sorry. I don't like Mad Tea Party. I don't like the teacups. I don't think that they.
I don't love Mad Tea Party, but I love the theming of it, and I love that it's a classic. So I'm gonna say the Barnstormer.
I was gonna say Barnstormer too. I don't
Because-
like the theming of it.
Yeah, it
Or
just
that.
I don't. It's 2 seconds long, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
so that
Any
wasn't
other
as hard
ones?
as we thought it would be. Yeah, any other attractions that you just hate and would get rid of because you can, not because you have to?
No, probably not from Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Maybe Hall of Presidents, but that's not moving, so I guess that doesn't count.
I would almost Astro Orbiter just because it's so redundant.
Yeah, true.
And we've talked about spinners. Part of me wants to say carpets, but I can't do that.
I like carpets. It's nothing like watching people get spit on while you're up in the air.
Yeah. And of the three, I mean, like, you're not going to get rid of Dumbo. That's the classic. Carpets fits in somewhat well with the theming, and there's not really anything else you could put in that small space it's at. But Astro Orbiter just, I don't see the point of it.
Yeah, for sure.
We also got asked in our chat favorite live shows, including fireworks projection stuff. We can go park by park for that one too. I think that. Well, no, we can't because that kind of hurts the question even more. Huh.
Josh was like, I'm assuming he's talking about Astro Orbiter, good view, plus you get to cuddle.
I don't know if that's a perk if you're not riding.
I was about to say, I don't know if cuddle is the right word when your hips are as wide as mine. When you come down, you're fighting for your life. That's accurate.
All right. So favorite live shows, slash
Favorite
projection
live
stuff.
shows. So yeah, including. So you can only pick one, but it can be any live show or fireworks / projections, whatever.
Any
Like caveat including no longer.
It has to be a show, so you do not move while you're watching it, right?
Okay.
What were you gonna pick for that one?
I was assuming he was going to say Country Bears.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Well,
I
you
mean,
don't
at
really.
Magic.
Hold on. Back it up. You don't move for Country Bears. What
That's what
Country
I'm
Bears
saying.
are you
You're
riding?
not clapping your hands and stomping your feet.
Uh,
So I was
Okay.
saying you don't move when you're watching this. Like, this is the answer. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know if you add that
You're
in.
not in a ride vehicle.
Correct. That's what I meant. Not you can clap your hands and stomp your feet and even sing along if you want. Oh, are we including Extinct? Because
That's what I
Teresa
was-
said wishes.
That was my question was, do we include the shows that aren't there anymore? Because I don't know.
I
This
think
is such
we
a
can include them, but I don't think my answers will change too much.
oh interesting. Now to make it an even broader question and harder, are we including parades and stuff as well? Because
Well,
they
that's
have
what
live
my
Yeah.
answer
performers.
was going to be, so I'm hoping so.
Okay, sure. All right, you guys go because I'm gonna have to like hash this out in my mind here.
All right,
I'm saying
where are we
Booty U.
starting? Oh,
Ooh.
we're starting at Magic. Ooh, yeah.
Booty
Oh,
was
man.
good.
I'm gonna say, in the same vein, Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular.
Oh, I have two here and I am conflicted. So let's go with Spectro Magic because I love the soundtrack to Spectro Magic. And my other was going to be Main Street Electrical. Sorry,
Main Street
Kirsten.
is really good too.
Yeah. No one for Text Me Merry Christmas?
No,
Oh,
leave me alone. So Park by Park, and then they want us to go with top overall. So I think that's going to be even harder. So Epcot next. We can go Epcot.
Epcot live shows.
I don't know. After last week, I have this soft spot for the World Showcase Players. I think that was such a cool show. and I'm so bummed that I missed that.
Yeah, I do wish that I had gotten to see that. So I guess we're including Streetosphere performers too.
Oh
here
yeah,
then.
that's live
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go Sergio? I feel like you're going Sergio.
I really feel like I should.
I knew it as soon as we were getting here. I was like, someone's gonna pick him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
I'm gonna go with the Chinese acrobats.
I'm surprised
That's good
nobody said
too.
Epcot Forever.
Really?
No, that was such sarcasm.
I like this show.
It's fine.
Honestly.
Most of the kites were working when I saw it.
Beth's response just sums it up, though. It's fine.
It is what it is.
Figment says it's only the ending that's a slap in the face, which is fair. So Hollywood Studios, I think this one's gonna be a little bit harder.
Phantasmic, are you kidding me?
I don't know. I'm Citizens of Hollywood.
Phantasmic for me, 100%.
Here's the thing. Phantasmic, and the reason I will not vote for this, there are a lot of bad seats for Phantasmic. So Phantasmic in the right seat, heck yeah.
Joshua about to
100%.
say only if you're in Sorcerer Mickey section. Watch it.
But
Yeah.
see, but that's the thing though, like if you see it from the wrong side, there's really bad seats. And that like I
Well,
don't
don't
think
see it from the wrong side then, Mario.
what control do you have over that?
Well, I know somebody who always seems to weasel his way into Sorcerer Mickey section. And there's a big clue in the chat as to who that person is. Yes.
So what about you, Brian? What is your live entertainment for Hollywood Studios?
You know, I haven't seen Phantasmic in so long. It wouldn't be fair for me to pick that, and I know I was just kind of
Thank
dogging
you.
on for taking up so much space, but I really like the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
It's fun. I
Yeah.
like it.
It's not like definitely not an every time I go type thing, but it's
Yeah.
I do enjoy it.
To quote Beth, it's fine.
That's fine. No one's gonna say the Star Wars show that just ended. Are you serious?
Oh, you mean the stage show where they just walk all the characters out and then they leave
Yeah.
and go away?
Exactly.
And then the last one is Animal Kingdom. So live entertainment for Animal Kingdom. Also, no, we have not done the Indiana Jones live show. I think we just maybe mentioned that earlier. I don't know,
Yeah.
but none of us have done that, unfortunately.
I would say the old Flights of Wonder, if I can do that.
Yeah. I would say either that or maybe Finding Nemo.
Yeah, that's a hard one because my heart says Festival of the Lion King, but Finding Nemo the musical is just too good. And then overall top, I guess 3 or 4.
My 1, 2, and 3 are Phantasmic. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man. I don't know.
All right.
I like the little chat comment. Hey Beth, wouldn't it be cool?
All right, I can give you a top 4. I think.
4.
I'm gonna top 5. We'll do top 5. 'Cause we
3.
usually do top 3. Okay, 3 makes it harder.
6, do top 6.
17.
I thought you were haying me because you couldn't narrow it down that much, but okay, maybe I can do a top 3. Boo to you. In no particular order. Boo to you, Spectrum Magic, and oh gosh, I want to say Wishes. My heart wants to say Wishes, but
Say it.
sure, we'll say Wishes. Top 3. They're all in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, my top three are all from Magic Kingdom too, because I would say Booty You, Wishes, and Main Street Electrical Parade.
Wow.
I'm surprised ours were that close.
Mine are also going to have to be in no particular order, but kind of in order. Phantasmic, Hocus Pocus, I can't say that right. Villain Spectacular, and Boot to You.
Okay.
I think that's actually in order, though. But I'm not going to say that definitively.
Phantasmic times 3. Did you have any other ones that came from social media, Beth?
We have one last question, also from Isabel. What are your favorite park and resort memories? I feel like this could be an entire episode.
We have done an entire episode on this one. Fun fact. I think
we did our favorite memories. I thought we did what Disney means to us.
And I think we covered our favorite memories in that one. But I don't think that that's entirely fair to say is like our complete favorite memories. I don't know. I think there's definitely more that we could talk about with that. But I think that that's a good starting point for like favorite Disney memories.
I have too many.
Can't narrow it down to just one. I feel like this is a really hard question.
I mean, the 38 hours I stayed awake on my last trip was pretty dope. So
I still can't believe you accomplished that.
I can't either, honestly. The only thing that I'm more proud of myself for on a Disney trip is that time that I got stuck in traffic for 4 hours because of that Jacksonville wildfire and I didn't completely lose my cool.
Man, I don't know.
My easy one to say is getting engaged, but
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like we can't not say that.
Brian, your wife's not listening anymore. You don't have to.
I know, so yeah, let me cut that part. No, another one that I definitely remember. As a kid, I got to like help do the opening thing at Animal Kingdom. And that was a lot of fun. And like legitimately as like I remember it was in 98 when it opened. And so I would have been 6 at the time. Like distinctly remember getting to do that and like being a ton of fun and like having the cast member interaction. I got to hold a little like fake tarantula in a like box thing and talk to people as they came in. Like I knew what I was talking about, but the cast members were just like feeding me lines to tell people like fun facts about tarantulas.
Oh my God, you felt so cool.
I did. And that's the thing. It's like almost 22 years later now. Like distinctly remember that.
That's funny.
Man, I don't know. There's just so many. Like I feel like it's dumb to say just like going with my whole family and people watching is a big one. I don't really know if I can narrow it down to like one memory aside from like the obvious ones that we've mentioned before.
One of my favorites that I'm not putting them in a list. I feel like that's impossible to do, but just one that popped into my head is one time that Laz and I were there and we got caught in the rain and didn't have poncho, didn't have umbrella, nothing. And it was at Animal Kingdom, so there was like no shelter anywhere. And we had several drinks and we just decided we weren't going to be bothered by it. So we were just like completely soaking wet, just dancing in the rain, singing songs, and then got on Cali River Rapids and rode it twice in a row. Just little fun memories like that are probably my favorites. Just ones that aren't like particularly noteworthy, just ones that stand out in my head.
Yeah. I also think the first time that Andy and I went together was a really big experience because she had never gone before. And I know I've mentioned this before, like if you ever have the chance to take somebody to a Disney park for the first time, it's like the best thing in the world. Because nobody, like saying it's a magical experience is so cliche and like, you know, whatever, but it really is. And it's really hard to capture that in like the form of storytelling, but like just taking someone for the first time and seeing their face light up when they see the castle, or like, seeing the little things that we all take for granted with Disney is just such an awesome experience.
Yeah. I have several people that I feel like I want to be there for their first trip.
Or like, I also feel like it would be fun to take somebody that hasn't been there in a while. Like we've talked about it with a couple friends, like going back to the parks, and they've been like, oh yeah, I haven't been there in this many years. And it's like, oh, we have to go. So much has changed.
Mm-hmm.
But any other questions from anyone in the chat? I think otherwise that was a really solid question.
Nice positive note to end on.
Yeah, somebody give us a negative one. Somebody make us argue about barbecue because we're good for that.
Oh. Aw. Joshua said, not a question, but I'm excited to meet some of you guys at some point when Beth comes down again. It's very probable that the only one that you'll meet is Brian, unless we do an actual Station 71 meetup. But
I will say, I think Beth and I have the hardest, or like are going to have the hardest time meeting up, aside from like Kirsten. But if there is a Station 71 meetup at some point, we will have to let everyone know.
Brian, have you met all three of us in person?
The only one that he hasn't met is Kirsten. I think Kirsten's the only one we can't verify her identity.
The only evidence we have is Allie.
That ain't good enough. That doesn't tell me anything. It tells me Allie exists. That tell me anything about Kirsten.
Allie is actually Kirsten in disguise.
I mean, it's possible. We need to look into that.
I do have to say, kind of rounding it back, like, I think meeting people in the parks too is a fun experience. Like, I mean, I've met Brian before, and that was the only time that we had actually met, and that was a fun time. I think hanging out at Trader Sam's was awesome, and I'm sure when we all eventually meet up, it will be fun.
Did y'all get as turn as me and Laz and Brian and Jordan did that time we went to Trader Sam's?
Actually, no, we definitely
we got to enjoy it a little bit more, I think.
We got so lit.
I know we definitely left a little more than tipsy, but
yeah, Jordan had to drive me home.
Wait, the time that you and Beth and Laz went?
Yeah.
Well, we started drinking before we got in.
Well, yeah, we had to wait, so we went out to the outside lounge and we drank kind of a lot there, and then we got in.
And then, like, we didn't each couple got their own Nautilus as well, in addition to other drinks.
Yeah, and Jordan was not helping me out with that Nautilus either.
Well,
so that was mostly
it's a good thing she was able to drive you home.
Yeah. We had a lot further to go than y'all did.
That's true.
Goodness.
So funny. But
yeah, we definitely didn't drink that much.
But yeah, big goal one day is for all four of us to be down there at the same time. Have a big meetup.
Eventually, we'll hopefully plan something where we can do like an actual meetup if we get that far. We'll see. But any final thoughts before we wrap this up from you guys or anyone else listening? I mean, the silence is a no.
Yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed it. Thanks everybody for tuning in the chat. And if there's interest, I would love to do another one in the next few weeks, assuming we're all stuck inside still, which I'm sure we will be.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with all of this, and I'm always down to do more live shows and stuff. I know we don't really do this outside of our anniversary live stream, which is still a couple months off, but yeah, this was tons of fun. We'll have to do something.
If anybody in the chat has any topics now or at any point that you would like for us to do an episode on, please feel free to drop it in the chat or send us a DM on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Send us an email at station71podcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear what you guys want to hear. And
Yes.
And especially, I would caveat off of that, anything that's like research heavy, any particular history episodes or anything like that, because now would be a really great time to get those when we've got free time to do a lot of research. So,
Well, and to kind of bounce off of that, we do have a list of some of the more research intensive topics that we want to do. And those seem to be the ones that we're kind of sitting on. And I think most of that reason is because we want to do stuff that people want to listen to. And we don't want to be like talking about stuff that is exciting to us, but not, fun to listen to.
yeah.
So if there's anything specific, like if you want to hear the history of something that we haven't done, let us know, because we'll definitely start researching it. Odds are we probably have it on our list for that. As far as other topics go, kind of pull back the curtain a little bit. We're severely lacking because there was a good month where we went through like most of them. But if you have anything you want to hear us talk about, like Beth said, there are definitely outlets. We do have a channel specifically in here for suggestions too.
Also, we are working on another Disney Plus Watch Club. We have not announced the date yet, but I'm assuming it'll be second week of April.
We can do that. That definitely works.
Probably.
For me.
The movie is Smart House, as voted for last time. We deviated with Luck of the Irish, but we're going to continue on this Ryan Merriman train and watch Smart House next.
And update on that, because I know this is on our list of things to do for a while. If you don't know how the Watch Club works, everybody watches the movie on their own time, and then we come back and we do a little live stream where we talk about it. Kind of similar to this. So if you liked the sit down feel of this, where we kind of got to talk about a lot of stuff, watch Smart House and then come back when we do the live stream chat. We'll have a period where we go through everything on like the plot summary and talk our thoughts about the plot. And then we open the floor up at the end. So if you actually want to come on and talk, that's a good way to do it too. I feel like we kind of need to explain this because I was very vague about it in the beginning, and then that kind of screwed a lot up. But definitely, it's a lot of fun. The last two that we've done have been great. And if you don't get a chance to listen to them but want to, you can subscribe to our Patreon. The lowest tier, which is $2, I believe, gets you access to all of the Disney Movie Club live streams.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap this week up? I feel like that was just big plugs.
Also, stay tuned. We might do another Jackbox game night like we did a couple weeks ago. That was really fun.
Yeah, we can do that at some
So,
point.
If we
have
do,
nothing
we
but free
will
time.
definitely post about it in advance and try to give you guys as much notice as possible.
And I guess off of that note, I can kind of pull back the curtain on something else I'm working on. I'm kind of trying to come up with a way to do trivia. We talked about this during the Jackbox game night that we had. All of this stuff tends to happen in our Discord server, which I don't think anybody's watching on Facebook anymore at this point. But if you join the Discord server and you're not in here, I'm trying to figure out the best way to do some kind of trivia night of some sort, which may be like another live chat where I, have you DM me the answers and then tally points up at the end. It may just be text based because that might be the easiest. Still working out the kinks on that one, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff for quarantine time.
Yep. We got good stuff coming. We're going to be spending a lot of virtual time doing fun things, hopefully.
So anything else, or we good to wrap this week up?
I think we're good.
yeah.
Okay.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.